EDI Mean TV presents Talk My Truth.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Yeah, O for L. I'm yelling no more talk unless it's the truth. You in that bullshit.
What's good? Welcome back to another edition of EDI Mean TV's Talk My Truth. So I want to get right into it because the internet, the music world has been a buzz with the release of Kendrick Lamar's new album, GNX. Now, on this particular project that is full of bangers, he did a remake of Made Niggaz.
I got this fire burning in me from within. Concentrated thoughts on who I used to be. I'm shedding skin.
That's right. If you haven't heard it yet, you've been on a rock, you've been on another planet. Kendrick Lamar not necessarily did a remake of Made Niggaz. He kind of rapped on the beat and did a whole new song to it, but sparked a lot of interest in Made Niggaz, of course. And it bridges the gap between the new generation and the older generation when you do things like this. So I wanted to give everybody some background on the making of Made Niggaz and how we even came up with it. So I'll go all the way to the beginning. Imagine this. Tupac and the Outlawz chilling in Tupac's condo, high-rise condo in Los Angeles, California. And we're watching the classic movie Goodfellas. So there's a part in this particular film that they start to talk about what it means to be a made guy in the world of La Costa Nostra, in the mafia. And so we're sitting there watching this movie, chilling. And a lot of times when it was just pocking us together, we would have these in-depth conversations about a lot of things. And that's how a lot of our songs made it out conceptually into the studio and eventually out into the world for everybody to hear. Songs like Illuminati, the whole Illuminati concept, that came from another conversation. And there's plenty others, but we're talking about Made Niggaz. And Made Niggaz came from watching that movie and having a conversation when one of us asked, yo, the Italians only make Italians. And they had to be able to trace your bloodline all the way back to the old country, all the way back to Sicily. And if they couldn't, you couldn't be a made guy. No matter what you did for the family, what you did for your team, that wasn't enough to make you. Your bloodline had to be 100% pure, according to them and their rules. And so when that question came up as far as, well, shit, that definitely didn't include us, people that look like us. I remember Pac responding, "Fuck that, we made niggas, we make ourselves." Bam, song title right there. So fast forward, we end up in the studio and now it's time to record the song Made Niggaz. I also remember Pac prior to that letting us know that this song was going to be on a soundtrack, and the soundtrack was the Super Cop soundtrack starring Jackie Chan, and we were going to be paid for it. This was going to be our first industry money that we ever got. You know, for me personally, a few months prior to that, I was in Jersey standing on the corner, you know, selling crack for a few dollars here and there. You know what I mean? I had a child on the way and I had no job, nothing. Pac was in jail and the plan was to, of course, reunite and put this thing back together once he got out of jail and continue on the trajectory that we had already started. So to be getting some industry money was quite the achievement at that time for myself and the whole group. And I believe we were gonna get like $30,000 for the song, and we had to split that up amongst the group. It was 5 of us, so you do the math on that. That led to us even getting our first bank accounts, because up until that point, none of us had bank accounts. I don't even think a lot of us had ID. You know what I mean? Like, we were fresh off the block at this point in time, and trying to make our way. And I was particularly happy about it because I was like, wow, we're gonna not only make some of our own money, but we get to make some money for Pac. And because the soundtrack was all of us together, he was gonna get a bag and we was gonna get a bag. And I just felt good about earning my own keep. It was important to me at that point to be making money and not be getting taken care of by nobody, but especially Dude, because Dude had already done so much for me personally. So we get to the studio and it's time to do the song. And I remember Pac telling Johnny J, like, yo, I want this to be like some classical hip hop shit, like classical music, Bach, Beethoven sounding, melodies and chords on a hip hop beat. And when you listen to Made Niggaz, that's exactly what it gets. Now, the person who played the piano on that, a lot of times, put this in context, a lot of times when we recorded music like a band. We would have the guitar player, keyboard player, bass player, all in the studio with Johnny J on the drums, and the music would come together as we were writing it. They got the metronome going. I would sometimes write to the metronome, you know what I mean? So long as I had the rhythm, I can come up with a cadence and lyrics would eventually come. And this particular day, Johnny J had a keyboard who was classically trained by the name of Ronnie King. He came into the studio, and after him and Pac and Johnny J had a brief discussion, he went and got on the keyboard and started playing that piano lick that you hear in Made Niggaz. And I just remember this sitting dude amazed because he came up with that pretty quickly. And not only did he come up with it, we recorded it, and he recorded it in one take. He never messed up. He played that for 6 minutes, never messing up. I was like, wow, this is okay. So that is about to go down. And so now a certain energy happened when Tupac and the Outlawz got together and we started working on music. Sometimes it might have been a competitive energy because we were all competitive. Everybody wanted to have the dopest verse on the song. We were all absolutely pushing in the same direction. And I know for me, I wanted to make sure that people understood why Pac chose us to because he could fuck with anybody at that point in the game. And, I wanted to make sure we held our own on the tracks that we did with him. And so now we're writing this song, we're putting it together and we have the concept. And, Pac goes in there first, and my life in exchange for yours.
My life in exchange for yours. Born hated as a thug.
He just sets the tone right there. Phenomenal verse, the beat, bass line, everything is starting to come together. And now we're doing the vocals. I remember Pac saying, Napoleon, I want you to kick it off. I want you to go first for the Outlawz. Napoleon goes in there and does his verse, bodies it. You know what I mean? Fatal comes in next. Pac like, yeah, you go next. This is one of the few songs that Pac actually picked everybody in order where he wanted them to go. He picked everybody in order. Mood, you gonna go first. Fatal, you're going second. E.D.I, you right there in the middle.
E.D.I Mean, born July 7th of Fusidize.
Castro, you come after E.D.I. Gaddafi, you gonna end it off like bookends. Napoleon, Gaddafi right at the end, and Fatal, myself, and Castro in the middle. So we all go do our verses, and I remember Pac had left the studio for a little while and then came back in once he heard us completely finish our parts, and he was blown away. It was one of the first times I seen a look on his face that said, oh, these niggas is ready. these niggas is ready. Because up until that point, our chemistry was sometimes hit or miss. We were developing our chemistry as a group. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't a traditional group. I've stated this before. We wasn't a traditional group that, started together. We were, two groups, solo artists all put together. And so when he heard that chemistry, I remember him saying, oh, no. You niggas will not body me on my own song. He goes in there and does another verse. Call me a bad boy, motherfuckers daily.
Call me a bad boy, kill a murder motherfuckers daily. Know the fans trail me.
That cadence right there is what Kendrick is mimicking on Reincarnated. Not so much the first verse, but that energy you hear at the end of Made Niggaz is the energy Kendrick is attempting to capture.
Every day a new version of me, a third of me demented, cemented in pain, juggling the pros and cons of fame.
And the reason why you hear that energy the way you hear it is because prior to that, the Outlawz just went in there and bodied it. We did our thing. And so he was like, nah, I got to get back on this. I got to get enough. And so you hear his energy go up a level or two or three. And by the time he was done with his verse, we knew we had something special. You know what I mean? Just think about it, man. Hussein Fatal was up in there saying, like, blow the roof off for proof like Rahmad Raouf. That almost brought the studio down when he said that.
Blow the roof off and proof like Rahmad Raouf. I can't be touched.
You know what I'm saying? Napoleon's verse. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, I was raised in the street. I had to hustle just to eat. My role models were killing niggas, so I know I will never be weak.
Was raised on the streets. I had to hustle just to eat.
Castro, Gaddafi. The Outlawz, we be the Don Juans of this rap.
With my mentality of war, dead bodies in silence, give it to you.
So I say all that to say that we had did our thing, and old boy felt a little bit of pressure. Not much, because of course this is Tupac we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? At the height of his game. And so verses for him was nothing. He was bodying any and everybody once he got on the track. But the Outlawz definitely held our own, and I feel like we would push him to another level on certain tracks. You can listen to songs like Hit 'Em Up, Staring at the World Through My Rear View. Anytime you hear Pac with two verses on one song, it's because the Outlawz gave him a little nudge, and he was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? My little homies is coming for me. You know what I'm saying? Coming for me, not literally, but coming for me as far as our energy and what we brought to the table as a collective. Now, that's one dude, and it's 5 of us. And when Noble joined the group, it was 6 of us at that point. So, yeah, 1 on 6, we're going to raise the bar. Sometimes. Not all the times, but sometimes we did manage to raise the bar. And Made Niggaz was one of those songs. And Made Niggaz is also a self-affirming song. It's about making yourself. Nobody can make you or break you. If somebody can make you, then they can break you. You know what I'm saying? And so you hear him at the beginning of Made Niggaz saying, let no man separate what we create. And that was a message to the world, and also a message to us as a group. You know what I'm saying? To always make sure this thing of ours stayed ours and stayed together. He was big on unity within our group. And, we maintain that, and you can hear that energy even still to this day. So, in closing, shout out to Kendrick Lamar for an outstanding album. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar for bringing that energy back to the West Coast. I'm a fan. I love what he's doing right now. I feel like Kendrick Lamar is at a place in his career where he understands his sound, his lane, and that he owns that lane. And when you come up with your own sound and you get into your own lane, that's when you truly become, one of the greats. And I think he's accomplished that. I think he's accomplishing that right now in front of our very eyes. So shout out to him. I love I love when people, not only just Kendrick, but I love when people do, you know, our music over. I take it as a compliment. I take it as, you know, it's a form of flattery. They say imitation is the biggest form of flattery. And again, I don't think Kendrick Lamar imitated Tupac or the Outlawz. I just think he captured and wanted to re-deliver or bring back some of that energy to hip-hop. Mission accomplished. Look, it's EDI Mean TV, talk my truth. I'm gone.
No man separate what we create. Unstoppable, untouchable.